Hey everyone, so today I'll be teaching you how to play the snare drum, just some basics of it. So first you're going to need obviously some drumsticks and then either a snare drum or a practice pad such as this one. And for the practice pads, they don't really have stands for them, so I'm just using a regular music stand for this. So the first thing you want to do before you even play the drum or pick up the sticks is make sure that your stand is at the correct height for you to play. So you don't want it like all the way down here, else you'll be very uncomfortable playing. You'll be reaching down to play the drum, which is something that we do not want. Or you don't want the other extreme, which is way up here. So you're kind of reaching out to play it. It's not very comfortable, and you kind of really have to get your elbows out in order to play it. So instead, you want the stand about a little bit lower than your hip level is where I usually put mine, because that makes it really comfortable to play. And when you go to play, you want your hands to be out very comfortably. The key word here in all of this is comfort. So kind of like you bring your hands out, like you're gonna play the piano or move something on a table or something like that, where they're not way up here and they're not way down low. They're just comfortable. So just as you bring your hands up. So next, before we begin to play, it's important to learn the proper way to hold a stick. So first grab your stick, and we'll create a fulcrum, good vocab word, with our pointer finger and our thumb. So what you want to do is about 2 to 3 inches up, you will grab the stick with your pointer finger and your thumb, and just kind of wrap your pointer finger around the stick and make your thumb parallel with the drumstick, and then wrap your other 3 fingers gently around the stick. You're not really going to hold it with the stick like this. You're just kind of gently placing them to kind of let them have something to do. So you want a little bit, about half an inch or so of the stick out of the bottom. You don't want it all the way down here like a wand. Unfortunately, none of us go to Hogwarts, so none of that. But you also don't want it way up here, because then when you go to hit it, this will be hitting you in the back, and it just sounds really weird if you get it like that. So you want it about 2 inches up, 2 inches up, with about half an inch at the bottom, and you don't want your pointer finger like this. Again, when we're not at Hogwarts, so we don't have wands to worry about. You want it wrapped around the drumstick, creating that fulcrum with your parallel thumb. And then, so you can do the same with this, with your other hand. And when you go to play the drum, you don't want it as a big arm movement. You don't want to get a big arm workout from doing this. You just want it having the wrist. You just want some wrist action here. You don't want to move your entire arm to play it, just on the wrist. And also you should keep your palms facing down at the drum. They should be parallel to one another, and the top of your hand should be facing you. The top of your hand should be facing you, not the bottom. So an elbow should be out just a little bit. They don't want to be like way out here, and they don't want to be like way squishing you. They want to be very comfortable. We keep coming back to that word. So when you want to play it, you don't want to play at the very top of the drum or the very bottom, or either sides of it. You want to play it at the middle, the upper middle part, and notice how my sticks are in the form of an A. You don't want them like this. You don't play like that, and you don't want to play like this and have them like opposite of one another. You want them to be close together in the form of an A. So next we will learn just a few basic drum rolls and rudiments. So, one of the basic strokes, I guess. So the first and most basic is the rebound stroke. So basically, it's kind of like bouncing a basketball, where you let the stick come down and just come back up. It's very, very similar to like I said, bouncing a basketball, where the only thing that should be controlling the stick at this point is the thumb and the pointer finger, which is creating the fulcrum. So just kind of let it come back up. You shouldn't really be hanging on with these other fingers too much. So just kind of hit it and come back up. It's very simple. So I will demonstrate just a few. So to begin, you can start doing by 8 on each hand, just to make sure you have the basic stroke down. And when you go to do a rebound stroke, you want your drumstick about 6 inches above your drum pad or the snare drum, because if you're really close to it, you're not going to get a very good rebound, and you're not going to get a very good sound coming out of it either. So what you want to do is you want to have about 6 inches up so that the stick can really have the liberty to bounce back up at you, therefore creating a better sound as well. Now be careful as you're doing this rebound stroke that you're not using your arm, that one just using your wrists, and that your palms are still facing down. I know that happened to me a lot personally, that my palms kept going back, so make sure, and a good rule of thumb is when you first begin to practice in front of a mirror, so that you can visually watch yourself if your palms start to go outwards, or if you start using your arm, so that you can see and fix those mistakes before they become a habit. So our next type of stroke is the controlled stroke, which is the exact opposite of the rebound stroke. So a controlled stroke is you still have it pretty high up, and you hit it and don't want it to bounce back up at you. You just stopping it. So again, to go back to a basketball, you bounce it and you catch it. So it's kind of like you bounce it, but you catch it. So you don't let it come back up. And you hold the stick a little bit tighter with this one too, because like in the rebound we held it very loosely so that it could come up, but in the controlled, your 3 fingers actually work it a little bit, and they kind of hold the stick a little bit more in place so that you're able to have it controlled. Now this type of stroke becomes very important when we start talking about flams. Now a flam is the percussion equivalent of a grace note. As a percussion equivalent of a grace note. So, for instance, I'll play one for you. This is a left-handed flam. So, in a flam, there is a left-handed and there's a right-handed, which in the right-handed flam, the left hand will start very low and close to the drum so that you're able to get that quick grace note. But once you hit the grace note, it's a rebound stroke, so let it come back up so you're in preparation for the next alternating flam. And then in your right hand, you start out as a rebound stroke with your stick about 6 inches up from the snare drum, and you go to hit it down, but then you switch it into a controlled so that you don't want to come back up. So then again, you're in preparation for the next alternating flam. So this is a left-handed flam where you start with your right hand at the bottom and your left hand on top, and you just hit it really quick. And notice when I went to hit it, I didn't keep my stick on the drum. I allowed it to come back up. Whenever you play, you don't want to leave a stick on the drum while you play. That creates a different sound that none of us want. So make sure to always have your stick off of the drum, and only one stick hits it really at a time. You don't want to let it sit there while you play. So next is our double stroke roll, which is a combination of the rebound and the closed roll. So when you hit the pad, you let the stick come back up, but with the 3 fingers that haven't really done much, you clamp it. So you hit it, let it come back up, and then you clamp it with your 3 fingers. So it's kind of like a teeter-totter, where you hit it and it comes back up, and then you clamp it with these 3 fingers and it goes back down. So if you can just kind of imagine a teeter-totter going back and forth. That's kind of what a double stroke roll is. So I'll just demonstrate a few of them. And it's not 2 wrist movements, which is what many people think it is. It's you hitting the drum head twice, but with 1 wrist movement. So, and just like with the rebound stroke, you want your sticks to be about 6 inches off as you begin, so you get a good sound out of it. And you don't want to leave your sticks on the drum either, because that become a habit, especially since they're this close to and also you don't want to go swimming, which is what I just did. So what I just did was I just swam with my arms because I was standing pretty far back from it. So you want to be pretty close up to the drum, and you don't want to have any of that swimming motion going on. You want to keep it pretty still, only moving from your wrists. So the last drum stroke we'll learn about is the close and the buzz stroke. The buzz stroke, which is the same thing as a closed stroke. So first I'll demonstrate so that you can kind of have an understanding of what I'm talking about as I'm explaining it. Okay, so you really want to mainly focus on holding the stick with your fulcrum. So I take my fingers off the stick a little bit, so they're not like way out to the side like we're drinking British tea or anything. It's like it's just a little bit off of the stick so that you can really concentrate on the fulcrum and letting it have those bounces at the bottom. So what you want to do is you want to hit it, but you don't want to let the stick come back up like in a rebound. You don't want to hold the stick down like in a close, and you don't want to clamp it like in a double stroke. You want to just let it hit it and let it bounce. So kind of like back to our basketball where you drop it on the floor and it just kind of bounces there for a minute. This is the same thing. We just hit it and let it bounce there for a minute. And it should bounce for about 3 to 6 times for every one you do. Like I said, you don't need fingers way out here. That just looks kind of weird. You just want to keep them close to the stick so that you can easily transition into the next thing you have to do. And these are used for drum rolls and or long notes when you have to hold one that has to be sustained. So finally, I will demonstrate all of the different strokes that we have learned in this video so far. Okay. Get myself all set up here.